explain our group project. Now we're actually on our Canvas website, which is very important for your course. Everything will be delivered, communicated through this platform, and including actually email. I just find out this is a much better platform than the Titanium, developed by our own IT department. This is much more robust, commercially available, but it obviously costs more money. I'm sure that's also a big problem for our university. Anyway, so if you look at our tab, we have this the top. The module is basically I put on the group project, and it has a bunch of documents. And for example, we have a detailed requirement for the group research project deliverables. This is a Word document, and I encourage each and every member of our class to examine, to read. In particular, the group leaders, you need to really read this document to figure out what you expect of. And also we have, I just also list the situation analysis, 5 C's, separately, so that you know that when you want to begin to work on your situation analysis and objectives portion of the project. And then we have 2 sample documents. And basically, those are the works from previous semesters, and I would consider good examples, and that typically receive A or sometimes A+ level of the grades. So, and also I list like group project FAQ and some of the common questions that have come up in the previous semesters. So I'm going to go to the this detailed requirements for group research project. I open this document, and then I just kind of explain about what's going on with this research project. And as you can see, the research project it accounts a big chunk of your grade. Half of your grade comes from research project. It's a group project, and I believe that it can be done even with the asynchronized teaching, online teaching. Basically, the research project idea is that I believe that you have to apply what you have learned to a real project. Learning by doing, which is a kind of like rooted actually in the Chinese ancient philosophy called Confucius. And I remember that when I visited the kindergarten. And then there's that learning by doing is cited from Confucius of ancient China. Anyway, that's kind of the good philosopher to have, learning by doing. Now, basically, it consists of two sub-projects, and in the regular semester, I used to have like 3 sub-projects. We have situation analysis and objective, number 1. Number 2, I would also include like a focus group. So for this time, I kind of reduce the workload a little bit, given the extra stress on each and every one of our society. So I just reduced into 2 parts, 2 sub-projects: situation analysis and objective, and which is secondary data gathering, and then online self-research, which is a primary data gathering. So basically, the situation analysis is really designed to identify problems facing a company or brand and develop a set of research objectives. Basically, situation analysis just try to see what's going on with the company, what's wrong with it, and then identify root problems, and by separating the real problem from the symptoms, and then try to find out some possible solutions. And before, and sometimes you're doing situation analysis, you may be able to identify the root problems without conducting further research. But more often than not, we need to conduct a primary research to test to see if our solution might make empirical sense. So the key is to really just using we call the 5 C's to identify the problems and define the problems, and then just you know try to find out what are possible research objectives we can come up with to solve the problems. So this is something that we're going to talk about a little later in this video, talk about the situation analysis, 5 C's, that kind of stuff. But if first let me just continue with this second part of the project, which is online survey. Uh, Online survey, obviously, we're also let me go scroll down to talk about the online survey. Okay, online survey research project. It's a 20% of your grade, and basically it involves designing a questionnaire based upon your situation analysis. I mean, so very important. You just don't come up with a bunch of questions randomly and then put it on the survey and implement it. And hypothetically, everyone knows how to design a survey, but not a quality one, because survey is kind of instrument. The better it's designed, the more quality of data you're going to get, and the more quality of research you're going to get. And obviously, it's going to help you guide your decision making. So we'll talk about a questionnaire survey design, and then, but your project involves just design a good survey questionnaire, which should be approved by me before you send it out. And make sure you remember that. I will also send an email reminder so that you need to get my approval before you implement. And then the way to implement, to design, not design, the way to implement your survey is through the Qualtrics. And we'll talk more about Qualtrics as we move along, especially when we talk about online research. Qualtrics is a very good survey design and implementation software. And it is similar to SurveyMonkey or Quick Survey, and even some of free ones. But Qualtrics like Mercedes-Benz of cars, so this is a high-end product, very expensive. Average small companies really cannot afford Qualtrics. We'll talk about thousands of dollars of subscription fees each year. So and it could go up if you conduct more research, obviously. So basically, like for the survey research project, instead of like you present basically, I want you to do a paper actually instead of do the presentation to the class. When we have an in-person class, we typically have students stand up in front of the class and do presentation. But with this pandemic situation, I just need a paper. Talk about a paper. If you look at if you look at going back to our home here, which is so I have like two sample paper for you to take a look at how it is done, and these two paper receive A. So obviously, I mean, you can take a look at how it is written and the way it is written, organization, everything. I mean, it's pretty a good format to to follow. And obviously, we can see that we have a bunch, another called a group project of FAQ, which is like a simple some of the questions that might help you to when you do this project. Okay, and go back to the home, and also let's go back to the detailed requirements for the project, and let's move on down to I forgot to talk about this your groups. Okay, the whole class we have 92 students divided into 10 groups through computer randomization. I mean, it's randomly assign you into one of the 10 groups. So, and also the computer also has a function that allows one of the lucky member to be the group leader. Obviously, if you don't want to be group leader, you can talk to your group members and elect someone who is willing to take upon the responsibility of a project manager, which would be awarded 4 points, 4 extra percentage points. For example, if your grade like 86, and then if you add 4 points, it'll become like 90. It's become A minus. So it's pretty good incentive, but it involves lots of work because a group manager, group leader needs to take upon the responsibility of managing this project throughout the semester. It takes an additional amount of time and coordination, and also sometimes you have to pulling additional weight because some members, some slackers, they don't want to perform that part of the job. So this is something that it's a big responsibility, but also it's a good opportunity to train your leadership skills. And also, I allow a co-leader, if another member or two members are willing to jointly take upon this responsibility, that'll be okay. But then the incentive point becoming 2 points instead of 4 points for one group leader. So this is very, very important information for group management. And if you look at we have 10 groups, and also I have the brand pre-assigned to each group. And basically, most of them are retail brands. Retail brands are facing headwinds in this environment. Retailers are suffering from online companies like Amazon, like for example, here we have Wayfair, and then also suffering from this coronavirus pandemic. I mean, it doesn't help retailers at all. So this is something that I want you to look into those companies, and then just identify the problems facing the company, and then hopefully using primary research to find some solutions to empirically to see what to basically talk to the customers to see what solution could be designed. And so really, how do you especially how do you gather information to conduct research, especially for situation analysis? So which I'm going to turn it over in our next video, specific talk about the 5 C's of situation analysis. If you look at this stuff, we have the 5 C's. Okay, 5C here, 5C. Okay, the 5C. 5 C's. Actually, I'm going to continue to talk about it. I don't know how long is the video would be. It's about 12 minutes. Okay, I'm going to continue talk through, and I'm going to just, I think it's 12 minutes. Probably I'm going to use another maybe 10 minutes to talk about the 5C situation analysis. 5 C's stands for company, customers, competitors, collaborators, and the climate. Let me explain one at a time, and then also talk about where do you get information from for each C, So company analysis typically focuses on strategic issues involving its own strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes you can see called a SWOT analysis, basically like strengths, weakness, opportunity, threats. In fact, I think one of the sources of your website, I forgot which one it is, probably it's one of the our university library databases. It has its information. You can directly, basically, sometimes look at some of SWOT analysis information directly. But by and large, you need to go into those databases and then read some of the trade publications and then just piece them together. It's not an intuitive process. It takes try and error. Read some of the recent publications, recent news article, recent, for example, Wall Street Journal article, Advertising Age article, or sometimes from this, it's like, say, if it's a restaurant business, probably some kind of trade publication for restaurant news, talking about something about its company. So, and obviously its website is usually public companies have its own website, and also it has this like a section for investors, which you can find out lots of more information about the company in general. It's, all the companies I have chosen are public company, meaning they're traded on the Wall Street, New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. So that's kind of stuff that is easy for to public to get the information. And also sometimes at the brand level, if you like say Ross stores. They have Ross is a brand, and also Restore is a brand, and then so you can examine its market mix called a product, place, price, promotion, and sometimes talk about the people, the target audience, and the politics. Really try to get a holistic understanding of where the product brand stands right now. Obviously, with the competition in mind, which is another C, which we're going to come on a little bit later. Second C is called customer analysis. Customer analysis usually includes demographics, which means age, gender, ethnicity, income, where do they live, even like so those kind of stuff. And the psychographics basically means that it's like how they psychologically see themselves. Like for example, lifestyle and not lifestyle. Like psychographic talk about the some of the how they see themselves in terms of like say social classes. For example, we have something called vows to basically looking at the the like different motivation of life, and vows to really just looking at the achievement orientation or expressive orientation or just the principle orientation. So for those of you who are interested, you can take a look at the vows to, spells VAL dash dash two. Okay. So and also geographic base means where do people live? I mean, so regional differences are very, very important. The United States is such a large country, and different regions have different characteristics. Geodemographic basically talk about like they segment the demographics in conjunction with location where they live. So this also help you. Sometimes you would be able to find that kind of information, but if you cannot find that information, it's okay. You don't have to worry about that. Sometimes if you can find it, that's okay. This is secondary data research, and then it's really we do what we can to get information. Lifestyles, actually, we talk about how they spend their time, money, and energy. We talk about the AIO, I call it activities, what they do in their spare time, and interests. What kind of interests, hobby do they have? And opinions, like we talk about opinions on everything, like on religion, on democracy, authoritarianism, on anything that's lifestyle stuff. And also we talk about product usage pattern, like how do they use a particular type of brand, like a raw store, for example, what type is it, how often do they shop, and then how much they shop even. And also we look into the motivations of brand and brand consumption. Why do they purchase this from this store, for example? Why do they do that? And also we look at the purchase cycle, seasonality, and in other words, we look at how customers go about buying that particular brand or its competitors sometimes. So we get a really, really deep understanding of who they are, what they do, where they live, and basically a profile them in relation to our brand. And next one is called competitive analysis. Usually, you can sometimes find the competitive media spending if you can, and then market share. Who are their competitors? And then the biggest market competitors, and also sales, brand awareness, brand image, brand positioning, perception map. Those kind of stuff really, from a competitive standpoint of view, look at where they are in relation to their competition. But this is very, very important because marketing is about beating your competition. So that's extremely important. And the last C, not lastly, the number 4 C is called a collaborator. Collaborators, we're looking at the number, of course, as channel members. Now, if you are like a retail already, you don't have other channel members, obviously. You might have suppliers, like supply your products up, like upstream, and then also downstream. Sometimes you have, like we call it retailers, distributors, and also we have strategic alliances, co-branding partners. For example, American Airlines, they partner with Citibank to come up with a new product called Citibank credit card. So that's a strategic alliance. And also we have, on our campus, I remember that we don't sell Coca-Cola. We only sell Pepsi. You know, I just love Diet Coke, but they don't have Diet Coke. They have Diet Pepsi. You either take it or just, you just believe it. So I'm forced to drink Diet Pepsi, even though, but I don't want to go somewhere else. It's too just far for me to get my Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke. So sometimes I just stock Diet Coke inside my office. Now it's long gone. You cannot do that anymore. Number 5C is called climate. Climate actually has 4 acronyms for PEST, P-E-S-T. I mean, political, economic, social, and technological trends. So, I mean, the climate macro environment are extremely important for any company to operate. And, for example, right now, the macro environment is very, very harmful to any operation, or whether you're a business or nonprofit or, just horrible environments. So political environment, for example, we talk about the, who is in power, the politics, like say, typically Republicans in power, businesses do much better because it's deregulations, lower taxes. And when Democrats are in power, businesses are facing tough challenging time because Democrats tend to tax higher, and and also the more regulations and increase cost of doing business. That's just the macro environment, and nobody has any control over this political environment. I mean, you just have to go with the flow. I mean, so number 2 is economic trend. Basically look at whether it's in the boom or bust. Okay, if the boom period of time or the bust period of time. If it's boom period of time, then everybody's happy. The income rises, and it's a marketing. People are so happy. Advertising agencies, PR agencies. I mean, we just try to live the fullest. But when the bust time comes, actually right now it's the bust time. Unfortunately it's a bust time, and then we have to just just tighten our belt. Really just go through the rough ride. So when the economy is bad, and then you have to really think about cutting down lots of stuff, lay off people, cutting down marketing budget, and then that's very bad. It's reducing spending. Social trend is also very, very important. Society evolves over time, and then lots of stuff just changes. And then, for example, the eating healthy is a social trend. I mean, it's people want to be eating like more vegetables, less cruel to animals, less slaughtering of animals. So that is something presents a challenge to burger companies, McDonald's, Burger King. I mean, that kind of stuff. So, and also last one, technological trends. I don't think I need to talk about it because anybody in society feels impact of technological trends, and no matter what you do, technology is transforming how we live, how we survive many times. So this is very, very important. So how those trends affect a company's operation, affect customers' purchase behavior, affect competition, and affect the brand, so that all the product. So this is extremely important document called situation analysis. After you go through all 5 C's, and then you need to discuss among your group members what some of the problems we have identified. Now you cannot count like 20 problems. You have to condense into like a manageable 4, 5, 6 major problems, bothering this company or just bring this company down. So then you need to really, for example, one problem could be the sales going down. Why? And you need to find it. And also sometimes the image problem. Or another problem could be consumer have a very bad attitude towards shopping at a particular store. So all those problems potentially, and then those problems identified, and then those are become, through the problem identified, you can kind of find out what possible objective we can have for research so that we can solve this problem through our primary research analysis. Okay, so that's all for this the explanation of for our group project. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to email me, and then I will probably be online, constantly online, just so make sure that I'm available to every one of you, and I will do my best to make your learning as easy as possible, and I hope you can learn as much as possible from my class. And okay, I will see you next time.